subtracting integers. So we're going to go over some methods on how to do that, because this gets tricky, but hopefully you'll understand today how to do this. Method 1. Alright, add the opposite. This is probably the easiest way if you can do this, and then you would just keep your rules from addition, where same signs add. I should have that written, hold on. Alright, so same signs add, different signs subtract. So if we notice this, look, I'll highlight this. 8 minus 3 is 5, and 8 plus negative 3 is 5. That means they're the same problem, just written differently. So anytime you see a subtraction problem and you're like, oh, this looks difficult, you trying to trick me. No. All you do is recopy your first number, negative 8, and I'm going to change that minus sign to a plus, but now that 2 needs to become negative, and then you rewrite your number. And now we have the same signs. So we're going to add. So this would equal negative 10. And if you wanted to draw out all the negatives, you can just see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 negatives and then 2 more, which equals negative 10. So there's nothing canceling out because we have no positives. So it just makes negative 10. Alright, let's look at another problem. 5 minus negative 2. Alright, so what do? We recopy and add the opposite. So 5, add the opposite. So this minus becomes plus, and that becomes a positive 2. You could write a little positive 2. You don't have to, though. You could just write 2. And that one, I'm not going to draw it out because I know we can see this. 5 plus 2, we all know that. That's 7. Same signs add. Alright, let's look at another one. Alright, put this here. So method 1 again, we're going to do add the opposite. So recopy your first number and just change your signs. Plus, and then we have a positive 6. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So now we have something different. We have different signs. Subtract and take whichever one we have more of. So we subtract 6 minus 3, and we get 3, and we have a lot more positives. So this would be 3 with a positive. But if you're not sure with that, always do this. Draw your negatives. We have 1, 2, 3 negatives, and now draw your positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can circle these 3 because we know that that makes a 0, and we're left with positive 3. Alright, like that. Okay, so those are your answers. I'm going to ask you guys to try this, and I'm going to pause it right now. Here are your answers. Okay, now this second method is really conceptually difficult, but if you could understand this, you could really understand what is happening. So it's the same concept as drawing, right? But we're going to draw this, and we're only going to draw, this is my problem box, right? So that's where we're going to do our subtraction problem. But we're going to only draw the first one. We're going to draw first number only. Okay, that's step 1. So, first number is negative 3. So I go 1, 2, 3. So I've drawn negative 3 right here. Alright? So, now, you can add 0 to anything, okay? Anything. So, I'm going to put in a 0 so you can see. You can add 0 to anything, and it doesn't change it. So, watch, I'm going to put a negative and a positive, because that makes 0. And now I've done that intentionally, because what I'm going to do now is follow my steps, what it says to do. It tells me now to take, subtraction means to take away. So subtraction take away, right? So it's telling me to take away 1 negative. Right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take away this guy. Alright? And we're going to move him out. That's not in the problem anymore. And now, we line these up. And what do you know? I have that to cancel out. And what's my answer? It is what's left. Negative 2. And that's the right answer. And this will work every time. Now, that's a lot. I'm going to try it again with you. Okay, so draw your first number, right? 2 negatives. 1, 2. Okay. So now we're going to add a 0 to it, but instead of 1, we're going to focus on this number. So, right? So there's 4 that we have to take away, so we're going to do this strategically. All right? So we're going to do negative, 4 negatives, right? And 4 positives, because if we put in 4 positives now, that's adding 0. You could do that. It's fine. It hasn't changed anything. And what does it say? To take away 4. 4 positives. So that's what I'm going to do. And take away these 4 and just move them out of the box. All right? What are you left with? You're left with 6 negatives. And that's your answer. So this will work every time, and conceptually, it's really teaching you what's happening. So I'm going to end the video here. Hopefully that helps with subtracting negatives.